My name is Kenneth Neal. I was injured on the job 4/18/2013, and I was injured at Ports of America, berth 23, and I was all on workers' comp for a short time until my doctor sent me back around June 5th, June 6th. I was only back at work for 2 days, and my hand swelled up twice the size of my normal hand, my left hand. And come to find out later on, after going to emergency that day, a few days later I found out that I had complex regional pain syndrome, RSD, in the left hand and wrist. And with the 2 surgeries, I've been off work ever since. So my total time off right now is about 11 years, and you do not wish this on anyone. I have a rare disease that's been around since the 1800s. And after 2 surgeries, I'm stuck with it, and I can't get my claim validated to this day. I've been through numerous court appearances. Even I went through the 9th Circuit, and I still got a deny on my legitimate claim. And
so you can't even get your health taken care of after an accident which was caused by the company.
Job. I was hit with a steel shackle, and they switched the picture, knowing that this shackle on this photo cannot hold a 40,000-ton yacht racing boat. These boats were for Larry Ellis when they had the American Cup yacht racing tournament in San Francisco Bay. And I have been off with complex regional pain syndrome, RSD, since 4/18. I am now been off for 11 years and cannot get my claim validated. I went.
And who's preventing that? Who are the people that are stopping this?
Home Port Insurance, SSA Terminal, Tony Walker, and Ports of America.
So they're all involved in preventing you really from getting your health taken care of.
Maritime lawyers.
Yes, and also my maritime lawyer, which dropped me for no apparent reason. I just called for an update on my case, and my attorney dropped me, and ever since then I have not been able to get any help ever since 4/18/2013. And you do not wish this on any worker, anyone. This is a very dangerous job, but when it comes to your health, you are at the mercy of insurance companies such as Home Port Insurance Company, SSA, Tony Walker, and Ports of America, and its lawyers who are denying legitimate claims continuously. And their new workers going to have problems if we don't stop or fight these bad faith insurance companies on the waterfront and around the world.
All over, there are many workers have been injured and are on the street, homeless.
Yes.
Because of not getting compensation and not getting their injuries taken care of.
My name is Vincent Ward. I made the national news for 3 days, September 18th, 19th, 20th, for 3 days. And all the national networks, I was on the national news briefly. And if you're looking at this picture here, it tells 1,000 stories. And my whole problem is, just like Ken said over there, he's been fighting this case 11 years, and he can't get nobody to represent him, and they're not trying to represent us. What's going on is it's almost over 15,000 unvalidated claims where people get hurt on the job, and they think we don't have no rights, and they don't. they don't know what's wrong with us. They don't what's going on with us physically or mentally. But the main thing that's going on with us mentally now is I just had 2 stents put in my heart because of the stress and the anxiety of not getting nobody to come to my aid. And this has to stop, because all the parties that's involved, they got a longshore textbook made up, and they're conspiring together, and they're not trying to validate anybody's claims. Now, I don't understand why I had 3 lawyers, and 3 lawyers opted out of wanting to represent me, because the format is what they do. Let me ask you a question, since you guys listening to me. When you get hurt on a job, you're supposed to be on workman's comp until your case settled, correct? Well, what they do with us, with the format they do with us is they put you on unemployment. These lawyers put us on unemployment, and once the unemployment run out, then the first thing after that, as soon as your unemployment run out, they figure, well, we can force him back to work because he ain't got no resources coming in. If you got a family, a home, or whatever, even if you single and you got to pay rent or whatever, you got bills, right? They know you got to pay bills. So the whole thing is, I had one of these therapists tell me, well, what if we cut off your resources? Would that force you to go back to work? First of all, you don't know how I feel. You don't know what's going on with me. I'm the only one that can tell you what's going on with me. Not even a doctor can tell you what's going on with me. First of all, I'm psychologically traumatized. Psychologically, it ain't just a physical aspect. I'm psychologically traumatized. This should not happen to an animal whatsoever, and the reason why they're doing it is because nobody's challenging them, and so this is the whole thing. They mess with the wrong ones this time, because I'm gonna put it out there, and if we come together, see, this is our problem. We need to come together. There should be way more people out here and everything, but guess what though? This is going on a video. So once they get out there on the video and the people on the video see this, I know there's a coalition of lawyers that can come to my aid, because I'm gonna be 68. I'm gonna be 68 years old in November, and I want to retire, and I can't retire till my case is settled. And what they're doing is trying to wait till I fall off the map and die, and not even pay me at all.
So workers are getting injured. They're not getting compensated. They're not getting their medical cares taken care of. And then they want them to die so that these insurance companies can get away scot-free.
My name is Harold Aday, 101148. I was a longshoreman. When I came in 2000. In 2001, they had a mechanicship program. And before I was a mechanic, I was in construction as a lather and a carpenter. We had programs to get us trained. But the program I was in, it was it wasn't for real, because they had brought other people in for us going to that class. And when I got my job, I got it as a chassis mechanic, but then the guy that started the mechanics program was Pete Daly, and I wanted to work at Berth 30. But prior to that time, I got in a car accident well before in 2000. I went through therapy and I came back. In 2005 and 2004, it was this other longshoreman named, his name was Sean. And what happened is that he became a clerk. And you're supposed to have 5 years to become a clerk, but he didn't have 5 years, so he had a big old uproar about him becoming a clerk. While they was fighting about that, 35 mechanics came in behind the back door, and that was on my birthday, April 1st. And then when that happened, they took my job. So I went back home for a week, and I came back and I started working till I got my 2,200 hours, and I started fighting for my job to be a mechanic. I finally became a mechanic, and then I worked at 30, but Pete Daly wanted me to go work at 24 at that time with these other machinist mechanics, because they came in our local. They was upset because they had to lose, I think, 6 or 7 weeks of vacation pay. They was pissed off. But for them to come into our union, they had to lose that, but they have to work 6 months to get their A book. A longshoreman got to work 4,000 hours to get their A book. And when I finally got my job, I was in the chassis department where I was supposed to get trained, but they put me in the reefer department where I was doing repetitive work, rolling up cores and plugging in the reefers and stuff. So I got hurt. So other than that, when I got hurt, that's when things got bad for me because they controvert everything.
Hey, this is Steve Zeltzer, and we're here today in front of the California State Building in Oakland, and we're here on Workers' Memorial Day to address serious issues facing workers who are injured, killed on the job, and also workers who are fighting for justice, fighting to get their health care taken care of. Okay, so I want to thank you all for coming today. This is Workers' Memorial Day, and it's the day that is commemorating workers who have been killed or injured on the job. And we're having this action today in front of the California State Building, which houses the offices of workers' compensation in California and also OSHA. And today in California and around the country, workers are getting injured and killed on the job, and they're not being defended, they're not being taken care of. In California, there are less than 200 OSHA inspectors for 18 million workers in California, and many of them are not bilingual. So workers in California are in dire danger with the collapse of the OSHA system in California. And it's not just Governor Newsom who's allowed it to collapse, but also previously Governor Brown. Workers have a low priority, their health and safety. We went through the COVID, and a large number of workers died at Foster Farms. 13 workers died because of a lack of inspectors that provided information to workers about how to protect themselves, to get PPE. Now, when you talk about the state of California, one of the richest states in the world, they have a multi-billion-dollar budget, yet they can't afford to have inspectors, and it's not a question of money, it's a question of priority. They're not interested in protecting workers. So we're here today to remember the workers who've died in California, and also to defend those who've been injured, who are fighting for their lives actually to get treatment. Because that's the other part of the whole healthcare crisis and the situation facing injured workers, because the workers' compensation system in California is corrupt. And the reason it's corrupt is that the insurance companies, it's been turned over to the insurance companies to decide whether workers should get their health care. For example, under Governor Brown, the Maximus Corporation, in a no-bid contract, a multi-million-dollar contract, was in determining whether or not workers should get health care. What that means is if the company doctor says you're not entitled to health care, you have to go to Maximus to make a decision, and they have unlicensed doctors, anonymous unlicensed doctors, and they decide whether or not you're going to get health care. What kind of condition is that when this company Maximus is making a decision? We believe that all workers, all people in this country should get health care. And for injured workers especially, when you're injured on the job, you should have the right to health care without having to fight the insurance industry and workers' compensation. And Christine Baker, who was the former head of the Division of Industrial Relations in California, actually was involved in corruption. She put her daughter on the payroll. She was involved with really allowing the insurance companies to control the workers' comp system. That's wrong. So we're saying today that the workers' comp system in California is bankrupt, it's corrupt, and it's not protecting workers, which was set up to do, supposedly to protect workers. It should be run by the state, and all workers who are injured should be able to get health care without having to go to the insurance company to decide whether they're entitled to health care. And that's part of the issue. The other thing is the silence by the unions in California. The unions in California know that many workers are getting injured. They know that there are less than 200 inspectors, and yet they're very silent. The unions refuse to mobilize and make this a political issue. There have been no hearings in the legislature why there are less than 200 inspectors, and Governor Newsom is not being challenged by the labor movement. We need the labor movement, the unions need to challenge governors and the legislature. Do your job. Why aren't you protecting injured workers? Why are injured workers going bankrupt and ending up on the street? There are many injured workers who are not getting treated, and if you don't get treated quickly because of injuries, many injuries, you become permanently disabled. That's what happens to you. So they know that if they prevent immediate treatment or quick treatment, appropriate treatment, these workers are going to get permanently disabled. They'll never be able to work again in their lives. There are many, many workers in California that are homeless, that are on the streets right now in Oakland and San Francisco and the cities who've been injured on the job, and as a result of that, they've lost everything. They've lost their homes, they've lost their families, they've lost everything. This is a crime. This is a crime for people to get injured on the job and lose their homes, lose their families because of the system, which really is run by the insurance industry. The other thing that we have to talk about is the California Assessment Fraud Commission. It's a commission that's been set up. The insurance companies pay into it, and they're supposed to prosecute fraud in California in workers' comp. The reality is that they are not prosecuting fraud by the insurance industry. They're going after workers. They spy on workers. If a worker lifts something, oh, you're cheating. You're cheating. This is what these inspectors do, the district attorneys. And they don't go after the insurance companies who are committing fraud every day. They lie, they fabricate, and these insurance companies are getting away with it scot-free because Governor Newsom and the workers' comp system in California have been captured and controlled by the insurance industry. That's why they can commit fraud. Injured workers, you do anything and you go to jail. You go to jail. So they're spending millions of dollars going after injured workers, and they're not going after the insurance companies and employers who lie about it. When you get injured, you should be able to get health care without having to apply to an insurance company. And also, if you or I fabricated an injury and said got workers' comp, they would go after us. It's a felony. It is a felony. We have the, I think, example of Elon Musk at the Tesla factory. And Elon Musk set up a separate department at the factory to handle the healthcare problems. And one of the nurses there testified that workers were getting injured on the job. They're going to them, and they won't send them to the hospital because they don't want it recorded that they got injured on the job. Their insurance rates would go up. So basically, they were committing workers' comp fraud. Did they go after Elon Musk and Tesla? Hell no. So the injured workers there were getting injured, they were covering it up, it's a felony, and they were getting away with that. It's another example. So now the other issue is, as I said, COVID. During the COVID pandemic, it was an emergency. They did not hire more inspectors. How can you have that? You have a COVID pandemic, workers on the job, frontline workers are out there on the docks, other workers are out there, and they don't hire more inspectors. And that's not only gotten better, it's gotten worse since the COVID pandemic. As I said, there are less than 200 inspectors for 18 million workers. That means what you're telling the companies and the employers, it's okay to violate the laws and regulations, the health and safety regulations. It's okay because there are no inspectors to inspect, and also there's no punishment if you get away with it. They give a couple of fines if they're caught violating the rules. Maybe they'll fine them a couple of $1,000s. What is a couple of $1,000s to these major companies? It's peanuts, and that is really what's going on. The system is stacked against the injured workers. There is no health and safety protection because we don't have inspectors, and also unions need to set up health and safety units in the union to enforce health and safety. We need to shut down these jobs if they're unsafe. Many workers are afraid even to complain about health and safety because they're afraid they'll be retaliated against. They'll get fired. This is a situation. It happened on my job. When people they're afraid to complain because they'll get fired and retaliated against. That's supposed to be illegal. It is illegal. But do they enforce it? Do they put these employers in jail? They should go to jail. There should be criminal enforcement of employers who force workers to work in a dangerous situation, and they tell them it's dangerous, and they say, keep working. They should be criminally prosecuted. The only time that they rarely prosecute is when somebody's killed, but then it's too late. If you're gone, you're gone. They need to prosecute these companies. They need to prosecute the employers, and they need to prosecute the people in the workers' comp here who are colluding with the insurance industry. That's what we're talking about.
I am here. My name is T. Palms, registration number 57771. Thank you so much for having me on, and thank you so much for the event. Here in Seattle, we're having the same problem that I've listened to over the mic here for the last several minutes, and everything that was stated prior to me coming on is absolutely 100% true. This is going up and down the coast, and I really have nothing other than to say that everything that you've heard prior to me was absolutely 100% correct.
Maybe you could talk about your situation, because it's not just a California problem, it's a problem in other states in the United States, and Seattle and Washington, the state of Washington.
Yes, in Washington, the issue is that when we file injury claims, these claims are not being paid out. They are immediately controverted, having to go before an administrative law judge, claiming that they're doing investigations but never providing an investigative report, erroneously in a no-fault system, which shouldn't even have to go in front of an ALJ, or they should just be paying these claims out. And they're stalling, they're wasting time, and the only purpose they use the ALJ is to deny the claim. I would also add that the Department of Labor is the problem as well, because as many of you know, that when the ALJ makes a decision, that decision is sent down to the Department of Labor, and the Department of Labor confirms with the ALJ, and that should never happen as well. So they're all in collusion together.
And what should be done about it? What is the solution? Because many brothers and sisters have been injured on the docks. You see people, as I said earlier, who are on the streets, who are injured and lose their homes, lose their families. What needs to be done?
There needs to be an outcry, as we're doing right now. We have to come together. We need to do something about the governor, about him not addressing the issue about these taxpayers who go to work every day, working hard for their families, and then when we're injured, we're unable to get the due process that we should get. We need to hold him accountable. We need to ensure that he's doing the right thing by addressing these insurance companies who are stealing money, and they're just banking on not paying the injured worker and hope that they die and they never have to pay the claim.
Yeah, now in the United States, there are only around 1,000 OSHA inspectors for a country with 330 million people. What does that say about the priority for protecting workers in the United States?
It's not a priority. If it was a priority, they'd have more men, they'd have more women to address the issue. But by not addressing the issue, what they're saying is that we are not the priority.
And you have many members of your union that are injured. Are workers afraid to make complaints because of fear of retaliation?
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%.
Have you seen that? Why don't you talk about that?
I've not only seen it, I've witnessed it myself, and I can tell you personally that I was attacked on the job repeatedly. I was assaulted on the job. I was also told by union leadership that I didn't fit in because I was too outspoken about what was being done. I was attacked in the hall. I was assaulted in the hall. I was assaulted on the job repeatedly. So make no mistake about it, they're aware of those who are outspoken about the injustices that we face due to legitimate on-the-job injuries.
And you've had some rallies here. Maybe you can talk about those rallies that you had. You had a previous rally?
We've had rallies. I just left Oakland, I guess about 6 months ago, and 7 months ago. And yes, we've been rallying up and down the coast to address these issues that seemingly the insurance companies have just disregarded, the shipping companies have disregarded, the union has disregarded, and so it makes it very, very tough. Now we're petitioning the governors to get involved, to say, hey, we are working class people, we deserve to be heard, and we need to hold them accountable to ensure that we get the due process that all of us are afforded.
And you're going to be having a rally on May the 8th. Why don't you talk about that?
Yes, May the 8th is a pivotal day. It's a very, very important day because we're going to petition what we've been saying all along.
At the state capitol. At the state capitol.
At the state capitol, that's correct.
And you're saying of California. And you're saying, what are you saying there? What's the slogan?
Harry Bridges said that an injury to one is an injury to all. The fact of the matter is, although Harry Bridges say that, rest his soul, it has not been exemplified up and down the coast. So although that was Harry Bridges' vision, it has not come to pass, because if that was true, all these longshoremen would not have lost their benefits, and they would not have lost their homes or anything like that. So the unions themselves independently are not utilizing the same mission, although they have it printed all over the halls and whatnot, but it's not true.
And what's your name again? Spell it.
My name is T. Palms. T. Palms.
T. Palms. And you know, we're here today in front of the California State Building on Workers' Memorial Day. There are organizations like WorkSafe in California that are supposed to be protecting workers doing something on Workers' Memorial Day. I think they're MIA. Where are these unions? These unions know that there are many injured members.
They're on the payroll.
And yet on Workers' Memorial Day, they're absent. I mean, what do you think about that? The fact that the unions have failed to mobilize to make this an issue, to demand more inspectors. We're here demanding 1,000 inspectors, 1,000 OSHA inspectors to be hired. Where are the unions at?
Well, the unions obviously are in cahoots. The unions are, in large part, a big factor as to why we're not getting paid. You know, this is the reason why the unions are supposed to be petitioning, saying, hey, how come our workers aren't getting paid? How come their cases are having to go in front of administrative law judges? And so I believe that the unions are getting kickbacks for being silent while the injured workers are suffering in silence.
They don't want to get involved.
You have a question?
I guess, is there any current legislation that you guys support or anything?
Is there any current legislation that would address these issues that you know about?
Not currently that I'm aware of, no.
Yeah. One of the issues is health care. You have a private health care system in California and this country. You're dependent on private insurance companies. If you have single payer in California, that would mean that all workers would get health care, regardless of whether they're injured, whether they're on the job, whether they're on the street. Workers should get health care wherever they are, and their families. I mean, right now, because of the private ownership, capitalist healthcare system, they're basically tormenting people. They're tormenting workers who lose their homes. So the highest rate of bankruptcy is because of healthcare. And also they're tormenting workers who get injured, who have to fight these insurance companies to get their injuries taken care of.
My name is Harold Leday, 101148. When they cut me off, I had to file for social service and food stamps. I'm a longshoreman. I was a reefer mechanic. I started off, I'm supposed to be a chassis mechanic, but they put me in the reefer department doing repetitive work, and that's how I got hurt. I was doing that for over a year and a half. They're supposed to transfer you over to different departments to get trained, and I was in the mechanics program at Longshore that I went to all the classes, and I finally got a job, but it took me a while because 35 machinist mechanics came into our local, and they leaped over me because they had more skills than I had. So I finally came back and got my job, and I worked with those 35 mechanics, and they kind of discriminated against me when I got hurt. And when I got hurt, I had a 9-month-old son, and I had to file for social service and food stamps and keep my same doctors that I had. I go to their doctors. Also, I went to my own doctors to back me up.
So how long have you been a longshoreman?
Well, I've been off since 16 years. I got hurt and got in 2000, and then in 2001 they started this mechanics program because I've been in construction for 20 years and always been into a program where they trained you. And I thought I was going to get trained, but that didn't happen. They didn't train me at all. So when I got hurt, that's when everything kind of went bad for me, and I just stood my ground, and I had to do what I had to do. I had to file for food stamps and to get money to come in for me and my son to survive and to keep my regular doctors, because they try to get you to go to their doctors where they controvert everything. They controverted my claim, but I still was hurt, and they interrupt my physical therapy. Because when I was going to physical therapy, I noticed that everybody in physical therapy is kind of treating me kind of different. I said, what's going on? They said, well, your insurance people haven't paid your bill. So I called my family, and I paid my $900 bill so I could keep my treatment. And then I was doing good. Then after a while, my bill got to $2,600. And I told the guy, I said, well, how did it get like this? Because I thought you guys, keep me in hoop. But this lady named Suzanne for PCMC, the insurance carrier, she goes in and get their money for our unemployment money, and they pay us with that, exhaust that, and this when they put you through all this other stuff.
So what are you asking for?
Right now, I'm asking for my retirement, my made whole, because I've been made whole.
Everything we lost since we've been off, we want help.
Yeah, everything we lost.
Vacation pay,
holiday pay,
all of that.
All that, because
everything the working class getting, we should be
getting. Yeah, because I had when I settled my case, they made me sign the wrong LS8 form, was for $126,000, but I got another form in the mail. It was $136,000, where it was a lawyer's fee. At the beginning, I had 3 lawyers. One made $10,000. Pector Stredge, he did the proper thing, but after I left him because I said my knees were hurt, he said, I want to represent you. I went to Stephen Baumburns, where he made $21,000, and he tried to make me sell my settlement agreement. I wouldn't settle because they gave me an offer, but we didn't do a counter offer. He tried to make me sign something I didn't sign, so he got $21,000, and then my doctor, Dr. Myers, said, why don't you call Sacramento? And what these lawyers do, if they're from LA, they might get a mailbox from another attorney in Sacramento, use their address, and I called, and I hired this guy named Mr. Kelly, and he got $35,000. So I said $10,000 for one lawyer, $21,000 for another lawyer, and $35,000 for another lawyer, and plus I signed the wrong LS8 form. Another lawyer somebody got $10,000, so that's like $80,000. And somebody cashed my vacation check while I was off work in 2010.
What do you want, the public to know?
The public knows that everybody should do the right thing. I was in the Carpenter Laughter Local. I got hurt, and they did what they're supposed to do, and I went through all my therapy, my doctors, and I was okay. But when I came into the Longshore, I thought it was a better union, but I found out it wasn't. They disregard everything. They just compensate everything. And right here, right now, I retired, and I'm supposed to get, they said, if I don't go back to work, I'm supposed to get $848.48 a week. That's $3,390 something. But they shorted me 2 years of I'm supposed to get 5 years of benefits. They shorted me 2 years. I'm supposed to get $1,114 a week. I didn't get that money, so I want to be whole to all that. As a matter of fact, that should be my retirement money I should be getting every month, to be whole. And whoever cashed my vacation check, that's why I want to be whole, because I was paying off my taxes, and then that's why the RS called me and said, what happened in 2010? I said, I don't know. And it showed up, somebody at PMA cashed one of my vacation checks. So that's fraud right there.
But listen to this. Now, see this claim right here? This speaks for itself. I got paid for a total of 37 weeks, and they didn't pay me that all at one time. I had to fight to get that in 2 separate payments. Both were like $26,000. It came to a total of $51,000. I was making $3,300 a week. I get $2,900. When I first got hurt, I was only getting $2,400 a month from Social Security disability. All the years I've been fighting, now I'm getting $2,900 a month. Remember, I just reiterated, I made $3,300 a week. You do the math on $2,900 and $3,300, and I'm making $10,000 to $12,000 a month. Now I'm getting $2,900 a month because they don't want to pay me. And the reason why they don't want to pay me because they think they got full jurisdiction over the injured worker, and that's all that is. That's all it is. They think we don't have no rights. And that's why they're doing what they're doing. And the reason why they're doing it is because nobody has ever put this information out there and challenged them. So once somebody, if we get the right people to step up and challenge these people, because who investigates the feds? Since it's a federal job, who investigates the feds? Need I say anything more?
Yeah.
This is a legitimate claim right here.
Yeah.
This made the national news for 3 days.
Yeah. We're union job, but we're union job.
Yeah.
Yes. It's a union. Okay. It's a union. Union.
Why don't you sit next to me?
Okay.
Move closer.
Okay. It's a union job, but we're considered federal workers. And when I was injured, I only got workers' comp for about 4 months. Then they cut me off. And when they cut me off, I could not get the 2 surgeries for RSD complex regional pain. After the 2 surgeries, they reinstated my workers' comp for 3 more months, and after that, that was it. So my total amount of workers' comp was only 7 months being injured on the job. And I got injured at Ports of America 4/18/2013 loading Larry Ellis's American Cup yacht racing boats. Those boats cost $4 million a piece. This is the shackle. This is the shackle that they switched. They switched the picture of the shackle that was supposed to have been hooked up to the crane to hold a 40,000-ton racing American Cup yacht boat. This would snap in a heartbeat. It takes 2 workers to tug that shackle, to hook it up to the crane and cable that 40-ton racing boat up to be lifted up by the crane. And they switched the pictures, and ever since 4/18/13, I have been stuck with complex regional pain syndrome, RSD, for life. It's been around since the 1800s. My doctor said, you have RSD, complex regional pain syndrome. I didn't know what it was. Even though he sent me back to work for 2 days, I was a dock relief man I did a auto job, and the next job was a dock relief person. My hand swole up twice the size of my other hand. And right now you can see how it swells after 4/18. It sweats, it's bigger than the other hand, and it's stained. It hasn't reverted back to its original. It hasn't reverted back to its original color or swelling. You can see the difference. They say their doctor's only seen 1 time, and they say you don't have nothing. There's nothing wrong with you. There's a doctor right here, Dr. Chin, on Grand Avenue in Oakland, stated that he didn't see it. These individuals had not only did they do that, they took x-rays of my hand. And I went back the next few days to get copies of it. The doctor say he lost it, and he stated that he read the x-ray reports, but he lost the picture. But yet he comes to court and testified that he doesn't see anything or no difference in my hand. And not only that, these individuals, they set up a deposition, which I'm still waiting for now. Now, they had a company doctor sit in and speak on my behalf in a deposition. Is that illegal or not?
And he didn't know nothing about it.
And I'm still waiting.
He never got a letter to show up at the deposition.
Yes. And so the deposition between the shipping company's attorneys and the doctor. And I'm still waiting for that letter right now as we speak, which is in 2024.
And he's been fighting this case 11 years.
11 years.
I've been fighting mine going on 8 years. The guy you just heard on the radio, I mean on the phone, he's been fighting this case over 17 years.
I'm 17.
What's wrong with this picture?
16. I'm 16.
What's wrong with this picture? We know what's wrong with this picture. But we got to get it out there so the world can know what's wrong with this picture.